Hey everybody, it is Tony Fonte. How you doing? Hey, I just wanted to come back on. Actually, been off for a little bit. I had a second wave of that crud going around. Not the flu, but it was cold related. Started to feel better. Started working too hard, and then it decided I wanted to come back. So lost my voice for a little bit. But anyway, I am back. I'm mending. Hopefully, I don't go for round three. But I'm doing well rested, and moving along. I want to do another chapter preview, and this is a kind of it's a special preview because today's also an anniversary, and with that anniversary, I think it's really fitting to have this chapter preview. So I'm going to get started here in just a second, but before I do that, I just want to let y'all know again. March 15th is the launch date. March 15th is the launch date of the book. Just sent it off. It's being uploaded to the publisher now, which is Amazon. I'm going through CreateSpace with Amazon. So very, very excited about that. And it's on its way there. But today is an anniversary, and it's actually the 6-year anniversary of my wife passing away unexpectedly. What's up, Christopher? What's up, brother? How are you? Can I say Pinto? How you feel about that? It's an inside joke, and I won't share that story now because that's not what it's about. But he knows what it's talking about. I'm sure he's laughing at me right now or flipping me off, one of the two. But anyway, so today's the 6-year anniversary of my wife passing away, and it was the starting point of my journey to where I am now. And with that is that there's a chapter in my book talking about walking through grief, and I felt that it was fitting to share that on this anniversary as I'm being reminded of that loss and walking with Kylie through that loss as well over the past 6 years. And it sucks, but at the same time, I'm thankful because I wouldn't be who I am today. I said I wouldn't. I was hoping I wouldn't get a little emotional, but it's happening anyway. I wouldn't be who I am, and I wouldn't be the dad I am today had I not gone through that. Because it's challenged me. It's challenged me to force who I am and who I really am, and against who I was. And it was the beginning point of my transformation over this last 6 years. I've really transformed in the past 3, but that was the starting point. That was the absolute starting point for my transformation. But I'm thankful at the same time, again, because I get to do what I do, and I am who I am because of all the stuff I've gone through and losing my wife, and becoming a single dad and walking through that, walking through grief, and walking through grief with a child, too, who was 5 years old, is now 11, and it gets stronger and stronger as it goes on. So it's a daily struggle, not only for me to be mom and dad, learning how to be more nurturing, which is not easy for a guy to do, but also be there as that strong person and be there through her grief, because she's going through it too. And the one thing I want to say about grief, as we're going to go through in this journey, in this chapter preview of walking through grief, is that grief never goes away. And that's a common misconception, that people think that at some point you just are able to let it go and move on. But the reality is that grief never goes away. Do you get to a point where you heal enough to move forward? Absolutely. And I believe that when you do heal, when you have an amazing healing, and God does some great work on you and does some healing for you, it changes who you are and how you react and how you act with other people. And that being said, I believe that you're able to love on a deeper level, going through grief and dealing with grief. You're able to love deeper because things have deeper meaning to you. You cherish things more that you would have taken granted previously. And your relationships can be a lot stronger with your kids, with other family members, and just in general, with people professionally and personally. You're able to love deeper. You have more compassion for people. And it's taken me a while to get to exactly where I am now. But overall, I do love more. I do search to make a difference in the lives of others, especially my Kylie's, because she absolutely needs that. And I've had to overcome a lot. And there's daily challenges with that. I actually had a meeting today, and someone asked me, "How do you?" And he's a dad. He's like, "How do you do that as a single dad and try to grow a business and do what you're doing?" And I'm like, "Man, it's a lot of mistakes. It's a lot of just walking through it step by step, day by day, and whatever comes, we embrace it and we move forward." And that's one of the things I teach when I'm talking about walking through grief is embracing the emotions that you encounter. Because there's 5 stages of grief. Now, when I say the stages, you're not going to go through every single one of them, and they're not linear. But I'll go ahead and give you, because it's stated in the book too, and it goes into detail on the actual stages of grief. But it's bargaining, it's anger, it's denial, and there's depression, and then acceptance. And I think of depression, it can either be a very, very deep sadness, or it can be even deeper than that, where you become depressed. But deep sadness, they all just kind of pile that into this depression stage. Now, again, you're not going to go through every single stage. First, you have bargaining, then you're going to go through anger, then you're going to go through depression. You're going to go back and forth. You're going to have some stages you're going to go back in, some you're going to stay in long, some you won't touch at all, and you can go back and forth. That's just how it works. And how do I like to describe? It's like being in the ocean, and you're going to be moving back and forth with the waves. And some days it's going to be stormy, and you're going to get knocked around, and you're going to get laid on your butt, and it's just going to suck. Especially in the beginning, it hurts extremely bad. I can recall times that I wanted to go to sleep, and I wish I wouldn't wake up because I wanted that nightmare to go away, because that pain is unbearable. Unless you've gone through it, it's hard to explain how that feels, that pain feels. Now, I've had a few friends that lose their spouses over the last few years, and I've been able to empathize with them and pass this information on. That's why I thought it was great to put this in my book, because how many people go through loss? And loss, let me preface this as well. Loss isn't just for losing a spouse or death, but it could be divorce. It could be losing a child. It could be having a miscarriage, which is the early stages of losing a child, or it could be finding out that you can't have children, or it could be losing a lifestyle, losing a job when you're so used to things. There's so many different avenues of loss. I tell it from the standpoint of losing a spouse, because that is the hardest thing I've ever gone through. But loss and grief happens on many different levels, and everybody handles grief differently. There is no one cookie cutter plan that says, okay, here's the steps, here's how you're going to handle it, and at this point you're going to come through it, and at this point you're going to be able to move forward, because everybody's differently. I can't talk today either. Everybody handles it differently. People are going to move through the stages a little longer. People are going to come out and be able to move forward a little faster. Some are going to be a little less. But I promise you this, it won't ever go away. There will be anniversaries that it'll creep back up. And there'll be times that grief will come out of nowhere and smack you. But I want to share briefly, because I don't want to stay on too long, but share briefly on what it takes to walk through and what I have experienced, because I didn't have this when I went through. And there are some great programs out there like Grief Share, depending on a lot of churches put on. My church puts that on too. They have a great program for Grief Share. And I've recently went through that just so I can learn and possibly be a facilitator to help out with that. But I didn't have this stuff, so I want to impart what I did and how I handled it walking through. And the first and foremost is to understand that it's okay to have all these different emotions. It's okay to be angry. And I've had some people, well, you shouldn't be angry. And I've heard other people have this similar experience, well, you shouldn't be angry. And you can't tell me or anybody else what we should feel, because that's what we're feeling at that moment. And you can't discount someone's emotions. Anger is a part of it. And that's whether you're angry at yourself, angry at the person who passed, because that's natural. It's a part of grief. That's what grief does. And it's a part of healing. Anger is actually a part of the healing process of moving through it. And angry at God, if that's what you believe in. You can get angry at God too. And it's okay. And as it was poured out of me, it's like, you can be mad at God. He's a big boy. He can handle it. But the big thing is don't let that anger get so much where it consumes you, where you become bitter. And you become so angry that you push people away and push yourself away, because that is a dark, dark spot to be in. You know, prior to me being a believer, I was in that spot, and I pushed people away. And I know what it's like to be dark and just be bitter and angry, and it's miserable, and it destroys you and it consumes you. And you shut yourself and alienate yourself from the world, and it seems like everybody's against you when it's you pushing away, but it seems like everything else is going wrong. So don't get to the point where you're so bitter that it consumes you, where it will affect your health, affect your relationships, affect everything else. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to have those feelings. And I want you to know that. The other thing too is whatever feeling you're having, just go with it. Just again, if you're being knocked around in the ocean, just go with it, just flow with it. Don't try to fight it or resist it, because when you fight it and resist it, you make it worse. But what I found out when I was going through it, and when I gave this wisdom to the other people that I know, the friends that I know that lost their spouses, is it seemed to help them too. As you're walking through it, and you just embrace whatever feeling. So if you're angry, if you're just crying, you just overwhelmed with this pain and sadness, just cry. Don't fight it. Just let it go. Whatever feeling you're having, embrace it. Be one with it. Be present with it. And what you'll find over time is, as you're doing that, the time that you spend in that hard moment will slowly fade away. And then you move through that and you wait for the next round. In the beginning, you are going to have moments, seconds, minutes of going back and forth through different emotions, and it's crazy. But as time goes on, it won't be as volatile and as crazy. You won't be on these rocky storms. You're still going to be going through the storms and going through the ocean and being knocked around, but it's not going to be as bad. And those waves will eventually smooth out some. But there will be times, again, when it hits you out of nowhere. Anniversaries are a big thing. And you're reminded of that pain. You're reminded of that loss. Special moments that you have with that person will kick it off and remind you of that. Just remember, embrace those feelings. If you feel like crying, cry. If you need to stay in your bed all day, stay on bed all day. If you need to detach yourself, detach. Don't tell anybody that you can't do that, that you shouldn't do that. Don't let anybody tell you that, that's what I mean. Just do it. Embrace it. Be present with it. And watch how much you're able to heal. See, here's the thing. With all these different stages, whether you go through them all or not, every single one that you go through, whether you go through all or just a few, it's all part of the healing process. It allows you to heal. So don't fight that. Just be with it. Be angry for that time. Let it fade. If you're out somewhere and you see a family together and you get angry at it because it's not fair, be angry. It's okay. Let your kids see that if you have kids. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry. There's nothing wrong with freaking crying. Men, hear that. There's nothing wrong with crying. It doesn't make you weak. It actually makes you stronger if you're allowed to show your emotions. Being vulnerable is a sign of strength, not weakness. I want you to know that. Just embrace your feelings. Embrace whatever it is you're going through and watch the healing come in. I hope this has served you. I went a little longer today, but this is a special moment for me, special anniversary, and I really wanted to share this today. There's a lot more in the book, a lot more in the chapter that goes into greater depth on this topic and walking through that journey so you can rediscover you can embrace a new beginning, and you can just be the person a stronger person and version of you. So I hope this has helped. Do me a favor, please share this. Again, the book's coming out March 15th. I can't get the message out there on my own. I can do so much, but I need your support. I need your help. So do me a favor, share this message, share this video with other people so they can see that too, because you never know who it's going to affect and when it's going to affect, but it'll affect all of us at some point. So I hope you do that. And Julie, thank you so much. I appreciate that. You're amazing as well. And stay tuned. A couple weeks, March 15th, the book's out. I'm super excited. And I think it's really, really, I know it's going to help a ton of people create more happiness in their life, create more abundance and joy, and then walk through and really rediscover who they are. So thank you very much. Talk to you soon. Sorry that it was a little somber one today, message, but I know it's a special message. It has a lot of meaning, a lot of pain in there, but I'm at a good point. But grief is grief, never goes away. Love you all. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon.